Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us for this Rosetta Stone Library Solution Plus overview. My name is Shayna, and I'm a Senior Customer Training Specialist. You've probably seen me before presenting a few other sessions, and today we're going to get started on an exciting resource that you have, the Rosetta Stone Library Solution Plus. We do have a quick 30-minute session today. We're going to cover a lot. As for our agenda, we're going to quickly learn how to use Rosetta Stone, the language learning program. I'm going to provide an overview. I'm going to discuss Rosetta Stone's methodology. I'm going to spell out technology and system requirements, provide a live demo, of course, point out a few new features on the platform if you haven't visited it in a while, and I'll show you where to access links to resources and support. By the end of this session, hopefully you will understand the Rosetta Stone methodology for language learning. You'll be aware of our technology and system requirements and be comfortable with the course layout and functionality. And you'll also be able to access help and support easily. You can find a lot of help and support at EBSCO's support site, your one-stop shop for all of your EBSCO resources, including some Rosetta Stone resources. That site is connect.ebsco.com, and there you can access all of the user guides, frequently asked questions, our knowledge base of articles, as well as our full complement of promotional resources and training resources. If you need to submit a support ticket to EBSCO, you will also need to create an account on connect.ebsco.com. Okay, so easy URL to remember. All right, so I'm going to start out by providing an overview of what Rosetta Stone is. It is the premier technology-based language learning immersion program. You have access to the institutional platform for libraries, which is branded as Rosetta Stone Library Solution Plus. With this subscription, your patrons have access to over 30 language options with all level access. Many languages have up to 5 levels of access. Each level amounts to approximately 50 hours of learning per user. And completion of all levels is equivalent to what they call a B1 user rank on the CEFR scale, and that CEFR acronym stands for the Common European Framework of Reference for Languages. And that basically amounts to, that B1 user rank amounts to an independent user, or rather a threshold intermediate language learner status, which basically means that upon completion, users should be able to hold a conversation with a native speaker in that new language, watch a video, a movie, a TV show, and function in common situations like shopping and dining or travel in your foreign country with your new language. Your users, your patrons, have unlimited remote access to the platform, and the platform is optimized for use on mobile devices. As for technology and system requirements, doesn't need much: a computer or mobile device, a headset with a microphone, standard issue, nothing fancy, high-speed internet connection, and of course you'll want to download that mobile app for use on your mobile devices, and if you want to download resources for offline use. Minimum browser requirements: Chrome, Edge, Firefox, all current and the previous 3 versions of those browsers. For Apple Safari, the most current version only. All right. Now, you'll need to download the Rosetta Stone app for use on a mobile device, and there are several Rosetta Stone apps in your app store. So you'll locate the one that I've circled in yellow there with the blue Rosetta Stone icon in the yellow box. And you'll download, it's called the Learn Languages Rosetta Stone app. The only catch, however, with this is that once you download the app on your mobile device, you don't create an account on the app. You'll want to direct your patrons to open up a browser on their phone, navigate to the Rosetta Stone link on the library's website, on your institution's website, and create an account that way. Okay, so just to reiterate, your accounts need to be created either when you are on your institution's network or you are accessing from a remote access method provided by your institution. And this is the landing page you should see for logging in and registering as a first-time user. Now, all you do on the mobile app will, of course, sync with the work you do in the native interface, okay? You can download some units of access for offline use. That's one of the benefits of having that mobile app. And that's great for access on a plane as you head to your foreign destination, learning your new language, for instance. Okay, moving on. Let's talk methodology. Before we dive into the live demo, I think it's really important to understand all of the thought that went into developing this tried and true language learning resource. So the Rosetta Stone methodology is all about immersion, and I have that in the center of that image there. This methodology attempts to recreate the way in which we first acquired language when we were completely immersed with no prior context. And we acquired language intuitively through daily interactions. So Rosetta Stone attempts to simulate this immersive environment for new language learning through the use of images, instinct, interactivity, and instruction. So to illustrate this methodology, let's think about when we were toddlers before we were verbal. We had no knowledge or understanding of language. We were simply immersed in an environment of sounds and images and interactions. We heard our parents and our siblings and people around us talk, but it really made no sense to us. However, over time, through our interactions and with the repetition of sounds and images and those interactions, we started to make connections. So you see this image here with a little picture of a baby reaching for a door handle. So we may have heard our mother say, "Open the door, baby." Another time our mother might have said, "Go to the door, baby, daddy's home." Even another time we may have heard our grandmother or grandfather say, "Don't open the door." Eventually we learned that through those interactions and that repetition, that tall white object with a shiny knob was in fact a door. So our interactions with people, with objects and sound created the meaning for the words we heard and then used. Okay, so with Rosetta Stone, there is no translation, no memorization, no parroting. Instead, Rosetta Stone employs a dynamic immersion model with millions of images incorporated in this program. You do not rely on your native language or translations to understand your new language. Instead, you're going to use your instincts. Instruction in the program is organic, it's not rote. Images are matched with sounds. Sounds become words. Each new word builds on the previous word. Words become phrases, phrases become sentences, and sentences evolve into conversations. And through this method, you'll naturally learn how to think in your new language. That is the methodology. So this methodology supports 4 basic language learning skills. That is speaking, listening, reading, and writing. Okay, so activities are based around those language learning skills. All right, so I have talked a lot. I'm going to pause here and see if anyone has any questions. For any of us who just joined, thanks for joining. We're about to do a live demo of Rosetta Stone, and we are recording today's session. You've all been muted. You can unmute yourselves if you'd like to ask a question or make a statement, or you can utilize the chat feature to enter your questions. I'm monitoring the chat. I don't see any questions in the chat, so I think that's a good sign. I'll pause here for another second or so before we dive into the live demo. All right, so I'm going to access Rosetta Stone from my back end. So when your patrons are accessing the resource on your library's website, they should be brought, once they are authenticated, they should be brought to this landing page for logging in and for first-time user registration. Before I log in, I want to point out a few things on this page. So all of your users will either create a new account here or sign in, okay? You'll enter your email address, your password, and then you will, excuse me, and actually the password requirements, I believe are stated here, at least 6 letters plus at least 1 number, not too difficult. Below that, you'll choose from the 30 languages that you'd like to learn, and you can see them listed here in the drop-down menu. And I'm going to select Spanish since I have already started, so we can move the demo along a little bit. Now, note that once you sign in, you've chosen your language on this sign-in page. So once you have signed in, you are locked into that language to learn. You can't switch to another language once logged in. In order to switch to another language, if you want to dabble in another language, or if you're learning multiple languages at the same time, you'll need to log out completely and then log back in, back on this landing page to select a new language to learn. And that's because the work that you do once you have locked into a language, you'll be able to gather statistics on your progress through the courses and the units of study. Okay, so note in the upper right corner here, there is a language drop down as well. And that just allows you to change the interface language to display in your native language. That is not the language that you're choosing to learn. That really controls your interface language, okay? This is where you select the language you wish to learn right below your username and password, okay? So I'll go ahead and log in. And I think this is a little small, so let me try to increase this a little bit. There we go. So we're looking at the landing page. There are a few menu options here. You can launch the program with the first link on the menu. You can also access your reports. So the user statistics that are gathered for you as you progress through this language learning course can be accessible in the My Reports link. Okay, and there's a link to support as well. But I'll go ahead and launch the program. All right, so we are looking at the landing page for course, and they're all laid out very similarly. I'll quickly get you comfortable with what we're looking at and what options you have. So starting in the upper right corner under the profile image here, you do have a few options. It does tell you that you are on the Spanish Latin American version. You can edit your profile. You can also view My Achievements. This is a handy incentive program where you can earn stamps or badges for completing specific tasks within the course. I'll go ahead and close out of that. Back on the landing page under that profile picture, you can also practice the chosen language's alphabet with the alphabet option here. Now I have enabled sound, so hopefully you can hear this as I click. So we can go through the sounds of the alphabet for Spanish.
A.
And you can listen to some words with that sound.
Amigo. Toda.
All right.
Elle. Caballo.
All right. Hopefully you've heard that. And that's just practicing the alphabet. Once again, back on the profile, you have access to help and support and, of course, logging out. And so remember, if you want to switch a language, this is where you can sign out completely from the platform to choose another language to learn. Okay. Over on the far right, you'll see a gear icon. And this is where you can access your settings. You've got course settings and audio settings. So you can adjust the typing precision, keyboard. You can choose the keyboard configuration for your language. You also have options, and any changes you make, you'll just click the apply button at the bottom of this little window. For the audio settings, You can adjust your speech recognition. I have already entered this. Now, for your first time, you'll come here and choose your speech recognition by either choosing adult male, adult female, or child. But note that this is really more about tonality than it is about gender. So if you are a female with a baritone voice, then you may want to choose the male, adult male option. And if you're a male with a falsetto voice, you might want to choose female. The gender you select will be used to calibrate your microphone when comparing your speech to that of a native speaker's voice in the program. Okay, and you would select the child option here for children 13 and under. Remember, it's all about tonality. All right. You also have the opportunity to disable answer sounds here, and this allows you to disable the sounds that indicate correct and incorrect answers. So let's say you are using the mobile app and you want to disable some of the extra sounds, you can disable those correct and incorrect sounds as you move through the program, especially if it might be annoying to you. But you can make those changes, click apply changes to update. All right, so those are your settings. Now we have an explore all content link over to the left side of our screen at the top. And this has a lot of new resources available. I haven't logged in a while, and so there's a ton of new things. Just this year, I believe, in January, we launched a few new resources. So you have the ability to access all of the coursework for this program here on all courses. It's only showing the first 4, but you can click the See All link to see all of the courses within this Spanish course for Latin American. So we've got 20 units of study. Okay, let me go back to explore all content. Now, moving on, we have live lessons. So if you'd like to attend a live lesson, we do have live lessons available on this landing page. You can see the one that's upcoming today at 2 p.m. Family at Home lecture with Elizabeth G, 25 minutes long. To see all upcoming live sessions, you would click the See All link. When it does go live, it does give you a join link right here, and then you can join the live session. You can also view on-demand videos. Those are our recordings that allow you to dive deeper into concepts to improve your fluency in everyday scenarios. So let's click the See All to see all of the on-demand videos available. All right, so you can see some of the titles here sounding like native speaker, Spanish accents and dialects, how to say, particular conversational situations. So lots of things for you to select here. All right, so let's go back to the Explore All Content link. And as we move down, we do have stories. You can improve your reading skills and your listening skills, or your reading aloud skills, by accessing one of our stories. It helps to increase the complexity of your learning as you move through a course. So you can see all of the stories for this particular course with the See All link. And let's quickly click one of these. It is going to ask you to, I haven't actually calibrated my microphone, so I'll quickly comply. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Quick microphone check. Now I do have the opportunity to either read, listen, or speak. Okay, so I'll just do the listen and we'll click play.
Adiós. Adiós, niños. Adiós, niñas. Nosotros somos hombres.
Okay, so that's just a quick sample. It just allows you to improve your fluency by listening to stories. The speaking will give you the opportunity to actually recite this. You'll click the speak button and it will record your voice as you speak it aloud. And then you can just practice reading as well. All right, so let's go back to Explore All Content. So we've reviewed a bunch of the stuff here. Below that, you've got phrase books. And phrase books allow you to perfect your pronunciation with common phrases. All right, so there's some common phrases centered around dining, getting around, health and safety, being polite. You can take a look at the being polite option here.
No, gracias.
All right. No gracias. All right, so that green circle there says that I pronounced it correctly. All right, so we can move through another phrase and I'll pronounce it incorrectly and see if it picks it up.
Sí, por favor.
Sí, por favor. All right, so it's not a complete circle there, so I need to repronounce it to get it right. All right, so let's go back to Explore All Content. Those are your phrase books. Let's see, do we have anything else? Yes, we do have audio companions and the alphabet. So the audio companion, these are activities that train your ear by listening to native speakers. You download these units and then you can listen wherever you are, okay? So we won't bother to do that, but you'll just see the download link to download the units to listen. And then last but not least, we do have a link to the alphabet. Again, there is an option to access the alphabet under the profile pic, as you remember, but it's also available here on Show Alphabet as well. All right, so let's go back to the home page. We've got about 10 minutes. Let me quickly pause here to ask if anyone has any questions about the layout before I dive into some more of our overview for the live demo. Okay, so we're back on the landing page for our Spanish Latin American version course, and you can see a lot of information here that we can access, we can explore. Let me give you a little refresher about the course structure. I touched on it earlier with one of our slides. Remember, with this Library Solution Plus subscription, you have access to 30 languages with up to 5 levels in each language. Okay, I'm gonna click, you can click the Explore Content as I did earlier to show the full menu of units, but you can also access the Show menu here in the upper right corner of this Unit 1. We can click that, and that's going to show you the levels and the units. So remember, there are up to 5 levels, so we can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 levels, 4 units in each, okay? For total, for this particular course, of 20. Okay, so some other languages may have fewer units, fewer levels, I should say, and overall fewer units, depending on the complexity of the language. All right, but it will always be laid out this way, 4 units per level. Okay, now within each unit, and I'll open up Unit 1, which is what it brings you to when you first launch the lesson. You'll see, you first launch the course. Within the first unit, you will see your 4 lessons by tab here. Okay, as I place my cursor over lesson 1, 2, 3, and 4 for Unit 1. All right, and within each lesson, there are multiple activities. Each lesson starts with a core lesson, which covers all skills you'll need for this particular lesson. You'll learn the language and the language structures here, usually in the core lesson for this unit. All right. Below that, you'll see other focused activities covering topics like pronunciation, vocabulary, grammar. You'll also see speaking, listening, and writing as you progress through your lessons. So I can tab over. You see lesson 2 has its core lesson with all of the additional focused activities, lesson 3, lesson 4. The unit, so as you move through lessons 3, 2, 1, and then, at the end at 4, the last activity will be a milestone. The milestone activity is always indicated with a star, and that's a special activity where you actually hold a conversation with the software based on the content that you learned. Okay, so just to summarize again, the way this is laid out, up to 5 levels, 4 units within each level. 4 lessons within each unit, and multiple activities within each lesson. Okay? Let's see. Question, is there a placement test for people that already know some of a language? No, there is no placement test. Imagine you're asking for a diagnostic. Not with this program. So the program gets more complex as you move through the lessons and units. Okay, so loosely speaking, if you don't need language basics, you may want to skip Unit 1 altogether. You may want to maybe take the milestone activity to see how well you perform, because this is a culminating activity for this unit. All right, and that may indicate whether you need to go back and review the lessons or you can progress. Okay. So you can see some of the topics here: language basics, greetings and introductions. Maybe you are comfortable with greetings and introductions, but you really don't have a lot of practice with professions and hobbies for your chosen language, or places and events, or emergency situations. So it does give you an opportunity to jump around. You don't have to take the course in sequence. Okay, but keep in mind it does build with complexity, especially within the unit as you progress from lesson 1 through lesson 4. And then remember, lesson 4, that milestone activity is really more of a summative diagnostic, really, to see if you have mastered the content for this particular unit. Okay, all right, so let's see if we can play around with some of this. I've taken a look at some of this already just to show you how it tracks your progress. So I started the core lesson. I'm only 12% complete with that. I can continue here. I can jump around if I'd like. If I go right into pronunciation, I can. I did start with a vocabulary lesson. It does give me, some summary information. I 57% complete. I answered 15 correctly and 2 incorrectly here. I can continue here as well. Let's see, I'll just go ahead and click continue. And we just have about 3 minutes left. It does give you the opportunity to reset or continue. Okay, so if you haven't touched the platform in a while and you don't remember what you did in this unit, you may want to just reset and start over again. We do recommend regular practice with
Las mujeres.
Las mujeres. That would be, if I can remember, women.
Las niñas. Los niños. Los hombres.
El niño come.
El niño lee.
El niño bebe.
I'll do this one wrong just so you can see.
El niño bebe.
El niño corre.
All right, so I've paused this program and I'll
Ella
go back to the
escribe.
home. Let me pause and go back home. Okay, so now we have an update for our progress for vocabulary, the vocabulary lesson. Any questions here? I can continue going on, but I don't think that you need to hear me go through the lessons. It's really a wonderful opportunity to see this in practice. It is very intuitive. That's the vocabulary lesson. There are a lot of drag and drop options, opportunities for you to pronounce. It's going to listen to your voice. I sampled that a little bit earlier. So you can come onto the platform, play around, take a look at some of the lessons. As you can see here, there are more focus lessons. There's a listening activity here for lesson 2 as we move through lesson 3. We have a writing lesson, review, and lesson 4. We've got additional opportunities to practice and review as well. All right, so hopefully this has been really helpful. We do have some helpful resources on Connect. We do have a knowledge base of articles. We've got a definition of the platform, instructions for utilizing the mobile app. We have product enhancements. So if you're interested in learning more about the new enhancements to the platform, and then we have a complete promotion kit here. If I click promotion kit, you can see that we have some social media resources if you'd like to raise the visibility of this platform at your library, sample press releases, as well as some printable resources, flyers. We have a best practices. This is a great resource that covers what Rosetta Stone recommends for language learners. Practice a little bit every day, schedule time to practice on your calendar, find a language partner, immerse yourself, use the mobile app. So some great printable resources available. I'll follow up with links to these resources again so that you have access to it. Additionally, we have links to Rosetta Stone support. Now, our support, I think, do I have that? I do. Let me go back to my PowerPoint. I'll click present quickly so this can be full screen, and I'll move across through what we already covered here. So a few more things to note. There are 2 levels of support. End user support is actually provided by Rosetta Stone, not by EBSCO. So if end users have questions about the content, they can contact Rosetta Stone support, or if you have questions about the content or the platform itself, you can reach out to Rosetta Stone support. EBSCO does support any authentication questions you may have, and they can provide statistics for usage of this resource at your library or your institution. And then this is where I actually linked to earlier, the articles on Connect. So I will follow up with these links so that you have them available to you. And I think that is it. We are at time. Let's see if we have any questions before I stop the recording. If you'd like to answer a question live or in the chat, please do so now. Okay, well, thank you so much for your time and attention. I'm going to go ahead and place this evaluation in the chat. If you have an opportunity to fill out this evaluation, I am part of a global training team. We do like to get feedback from our clients so we can improve our training sessions for you. If you've got a moment, please feel free to fill it out. If you don't, no worries. Thanks for attending this session. Thanks for being an EBSCO subscriber. I hope that you make the best use of this resource and you learn a language for maybe your travels this summer if you are so fortunate. Thanks. Have a great day, everybody. Goodbye.